Previously, the young servant grabbed Wanjiku's hand. You have to leave before the seventh sunrise. Wanjiku's heart skipped. Why? Before Amani could answer, she heard footsteps. Fear filled her eyes. She stepped back into the darkness. Trust no one. Then she disappeared, leaving Wanjiku with one terrifying question. What happens on the seventh day? Morning came, but Wanjiku hadn't slept. The words echoed through her mind. Leave before the seventh sunrise. Trust no one. She threw off her blanket. She wasn't going to wait for answers. She was going to find them. Within minutes, she was already searching the mansion for Amani. She checked the grand hallway, the inner courtyard, the gardens, but Amani was nowhere to be seen. Just as worry began to settle in, Wanjiku spotted her. The young servant was arranging fresh flowers in the dining hall. Relief washed over Wanjiku's face. She hurried toward her. Amani. Amani looked up. The smile on her face vanished instantly. She glanced around nervously before lowering her voice. My lady, not here. Wanjiku stepped closer. No, you're going to tell me now. What happens on the seventh day? Amani swallowed hard. Her lips parted. It means... Amani! A sharp voice echoed through the hall. Amani froze. The basket of fresh flowers slipped slightly in her trembling hands. Slowly, she turned around. An elderly housekeeper stood at the entrance to the dining hall. Her sharp eyes never left Amani. The woman walked toward them with calm, measured steps. When she stopped in front of Amani, she spoke without raising her voice. Amani, I believe those flowers won't arrange themselves. Amani immediately lowered her head. I'm sorry, Madame Grace. Madame Grace's eyes narrowed. Then she leaned in just enough for Amani to hear. If you value your life, focus on your duties. A brief silence followed. Then her voice became colder. And if you don't want what happened to your mother to happen to you, stay away from the new bride. Amani's face drained of color. Her fingers tightened around the basket. Yes, madam. Madame Grace forced a polite smile. My lady, breakfast will be served shortly. Without waiting for a reply, she walked away. The entire dining hall remained silent. Only after Madame Grace disappeared did Amani slowly breathe again. Wanjiku looked at Amani. What did she mean? What happened to your mother? Amani's eyes filled with fear. She slowly shook her head. I can't. My lady, please don't ask me here. Without another word, she picked up the flowers and hurried away. Wanjiku watched her disappear. Whatever had happened to Amani's mother, it was terrifying enough to quiet an entire mansion. Wanjiku stood alone in the dining hall. Her mind raced. What happened to Amani's mother? Why was everyone so afraid? Before she could think any further, a familiar voice called from behind. There you are. Wanjiku turned. Baraka walked toward her with a warm smile. His smile widened as he reached her. I've been looking everywhere for you. He noticed her concern on her face. Is everything all right? Wanjiku forced a faint smile. I couldn't sleep. Baraka gently took her hand. I'm sorry. I should have stayed with you longer last night. He brushed a loose strand of hair away from her face. I know everything is still new, but you'll get used to it. His kindness felt genuine. Yet, Amani's warning echoed inside Wanjiku's mind. Trust no one. Baraka smiled. Come, let's go see my mom. Wanjiku nodded. As they walked, she stole one last glance down the hallway. Amani was gone, but the questions she had left behind were only beginning. After breakfast, Baraka smiled. "Come, I'd like to show you the estate." He led Wanjiku through the beautiful gardens. The estate was vast. Every path was perfectly maintained. Everything looked peaceful. Wanjiku smiled. "It's beautiful." She hesitated. "Baraka, would it be all right if I visited the village today?" Baraka's smile faded for a moment. "The village?" "Yes, I'd like to meet the people." He gently shook his head. "Not today." "Why?" "It's safer if you remain inside the mansion." Wanjiku frowned. "I'm only taking a walk. I won't be long." Baraka smiled again. "I know, but I'd rather you stay here. I'll take you another time." He reached for her hand. "Trust me." Wanjiku forced a faint smile. "All right." But as they walked back toward the mansion, Amani's warning echoed once again. Trust no one. As they entered the mansion, Baraka's phone rang. He glanced at the screen. "I'll be back in a moment." He walked toward his study. The moment he disappeared, a soft voice came from behind. "My lady." Wanjiku turned. It was Amani. She stood beside a service doorway, making sure no one was watching. Wanjiku hurried over. "You've been avoiding me." Amani shook her head. "I've been trying to protect you." Wanjiku lowered her voice. "Then tell me the truth. What happens on the 7th day?" Amani's eyes filled with fear. She looked down the hallway before answering. "The 7th day is the day every bride dies." Wanjiku stared at her. "What?" Amani nodded slowly. "No bride has ever lived beyond the 7th sunrise." Wanjiku took a step back. "That's impossible." "I know, but it's true." "Then tell me why." Amani shook her head. "I can't. I don't know everything. There is only one person who knows the whole truth." "Who?" "Mama Nyambura." Wanjiku frowned. "Take me to her." Amani's expression turned serious. "It won't be easy. The estate is heavily guarded. No one leaves without the family's permission." Wanjiku looked towards the window, then back at Amani. "There has to be a way." Amani hesitated. After a long silence, she whispered, "There is. But if we're caught, we'll both die." Wanjiku stared at her. "You mean we have to escape?" Amani nodded. "It's the only way you'll reach Mama Nyambura." Wanjiku looked outside the window. 2 security guards stood at the gate. Another slowly patrolled the courtyard. She turned back to Amani. "How do we get past them?" Amani lowered her voice. "Tomorrow morning, the household staff delivers food and supplies to the workers' quarters. No one pays much attention to the 7th. She paused. "I'll dress you like one of us." Wanjiku looked down at her elegant clothes. "You really think that will work?" "It has to." A long silence followed. Then Wanjiku asked, "What if Baraka finds out?" Amani didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked directly into Wanjiku's eyes. "If he finds out, you won't live to see the 7th sunrise." Wanjiku felt a chill run through her body. For the first time, she realized Amani wasn't asking her to break a family rule. She was asking her to risk everything. Amani quickly stepped away. "My lady, I have to go." Before Wanjiku could stop her, she disappeared through the servants' corridor. Wanjiku remained where she was. Her mind raced. Every bride dies before the 7th sunrise. She could hardly believe it. A familiar voice interrupted her thoughts. "Wanjiku?" She turned sharply. Baraka was standing behind her. His smile hadn't changed. "Who were you talking to?" Wanjiku hesitated. "No one." Baraka glanced toward the empty servants' corridor. "I could have sworn I heard voices." He studied her face for a brief moment. Then he smiled again. "Come, my mother is waiting for us." He gently took her hand. As they walked away, neither of them noticed Madame Grace standing silently at the far end of the corridor. She watched them disappear around the corner. Then her eyes slowly shifted toward the servants' passage where Amani had disappeared. Her expression hardened. Without a word, She turned and walked away. The next morning, long before sunrise, a soft knock came at Wanjiku's door. 3 gentle taps. She hurried to open it. Amani slipped inside and quietly closed the door behind her. She carried a neatly folded servant's uniform. Without a word, she handed it to Wanjiku. "Put this on." Wanjiku looked down at the clothes she had already changed into. She wore a simple cream long-sleeve blouse, tucked into beige trousers and white sneakers. She looked at Amani in confusion. "But I'm already dressed." Amani nodded. "I know. Wear the uniform over your clothes. If anything goes wrong, you can remove it and run." Wanjiku immediately understood. She slipped the loose green servant's dress over her blouse and trousers. A white apron covered the front. A simple headscarf concealed her hair. From a distance, she looked exactly like one of the household servants. Amani stepped back and examined her. "Perfect. Keep your head down, and whatever happens, don't speak." Wanjiku nodded. "I'm ready." Amani slowly opened the bedroom door. The corridor was empty. She stepped out first. Wanjiku followed close behind. They had barely taken a few steps when a familiar voice stopped them. "Amani?" Both women froze. Amani slowly closed her eyes. Her heart sank. The voice came directly behind them.